Hello, everyone, and welcome to Blogging Theology Academy today. I'm honoured to be joined by Hasan Spiker. Hello, salam alaikum to you.
Honours all mine, Paul. Wa alaikum salam.
Walaikum salam. Good to see you. Good to see you. So we're here, as advertised, to talk about our exciting new course on Blogging Theology Academy. And we're going to go through that. We're going to talk about the dates and the times and the costs and the big discount. And why you should consider enrolling on this in this amazing course. So I'll just put up the Blogging Theology Academy website, so you can see there. This is live, obviously. Applications now open for Blogging Theology Academy's 2026-27 Advanced Diploma in the Western Tradition and Islamic Philosophy and Theology. And you can watch the Blogging Theology Academy film there as well. But we're going to be talking about this. This will be our third year, actually. We're just coming to the end of our second year. So, alhamdulillah, we've survived for 3 years. And we're going to go through.
Right.
Yeah, 3 survived. Indeed. No, it's been an amazing experience, to be honest. And if you go on the website, which is at bloggingtheologyacademy.com, you can read more information. We're going to go through this in a minute about the course and what you can expect to get from it. And the course is basically composed of 2 complementary cutting-edge courses: the Bible and Early Christianity, the Western Critical Method and Islam, which I teach, and Hasan teaches metaphysics and logic in the Islamic and Western traditions. So that basically is the course. The 2 courses, they're complementary, and they come under this one title of the Advanced Diploma in the Western Tradition, Islamic Philosophy and Theology. We're very happy, by the way, to take your questions. If you have any questions at all, please pop them on the right there, where you can put the questions, and we'll read them out and we'll try and address those as well. But Hasan, you would like to say something?
Yeah, I mean, I think that time has proved the worth of this course, really, this advanced diploma. It started out as something of an experiment, but which we knew definitely met a very, very important need for the Ummah in our time. And the experience of the last 2 years, absolutely amazing cohorts, 2 amazing cohorts of very, very talented individuals from all sorts of different backgrounds. I think just the testimonies of those students is sufficient to show just how transformational this course can be. What the need, I think, that the course fundamentally meets is just a sense that for Muslims living in the West, rather, we seem to be at a kind of turning point. In some ways, it's an impasse. In other ways, it's just this extraordinary opportunity. And there are so many different things which have cemented this, but one of them is certainly the Gaza genocide. It's the only thing you can call it, which I think in so many ways put the spotlight on the hypocrisy of the liberal order so glaringly that I think almost everyone has to look at what is the underlying philosophy of that order now. Because perhaps those who tended not to think very philosophically are going to be scratching their heads and saying, well, what happened to all of that human rights and rules-based international order and international law and fairness and justice and especially the moral leadership of the West, which obviously after 9/11 and the war on terror has already been starting to crack and has been more and more difficult to take seriously. But in the time that we're now in, I think that it's just a masks off moment. And that might not seem to have very much to do with philosophy or early Christianity, but it actually has an awful lot to do with it. And I think that it's been a recurring theme again and again over the past 2 years. We've kind of endlessly spoken about that, haven't we, Paul, with students? Yeah. But, you know, to get a bit more back to basics about what the course is about, it's essentially, as Paul mentioned, a 2-part course. So both courses are mandatory. I should say a 2-part diploma or 2-element diploma, where basically you have Paul's course, which is telling you about the Bible, the historical critical method is actually a major focus, if not the main focus, and early Christianity and the real nature of early Christianity. And what Paul's course does, it does so many different things, but one of the extraordinary things that it does is it shows you the remarkable, really, really extraordinary convergence between the revealed Quranic account of Sayyidina Isa, of Jesus, and the conclusions that the best critical scholars have arrived at over the past however many decades, I suppose, over the past 150 years or so, ultimately. And I think that, well, in a way, it's an extraordinary faith-boosting experience for students, actually seeing all of the details of that, because as we always say, we never try to straw man the West or straw man the scholarship or hide things from you. So it's this extraordinary experience of discovery, but that really, yani, the claim of the Quran to be divinely revealed just seems to be so powerfully supported by that kind of level of study, and it really is quite extraordinary. But there's a broader sense in which the diploma is there to empower students to really understand the world that they're living in, for us to really understand, as Muslims in the West, the world that we're living in. That means understanding the Western tradition. Again, not straw manning it, understanding it in detail. And I'm beginning to sound like you in our award-winning film, although actually, hold on, our film is not quite award-winning. The filmmaker is, but I'm sounding like, I think I'm parroting Paul in that movie, and I think it might be nice for us to watch that in a little bit. We have this extraordinary film made last year in Cambridge, but in any case, so it's imperative for Muslims, especially in this kind of brave new world, this extraordinary new world, to understand in detail the world that we're living in, to really be of the West, to be a part of the West, but not creedally and not in terms of buying into the destructive modernism that so many of our brothers and sisters in the broader sense have fallen into, including our brothers and sisters in the special sense of Islam. So, and we see that the best way to do this is through these two courses, metaphysics and logic on the one hand, and the Bible and early Christianity on the other. Now, I think both of them are
should we watch a bit of that video, by the way?
Oh, yes.
And so people are going to, and then we'll continue the conversation.
All of the sciences point to the same metaphysical reality, and they ultimately point to God. At BTA, we recover a metaphysical vision which was really standard and basic in Islamic civilization. It's the idea that all of the sciences are integrated. You can't have them off on their own, isolated and fragmented, the way that you have in the modern university, the hyper-specialist who just knows everything there is to know about physics but can't understand anything else.
God, it was cold that day.
Quite shocking that there was this gap in the education system, actually, which, inshallah, we will fulfill.
One of the things we do on the course that I teach is to look in detail, without straw manning the West, without straw manning New Testament scholarship, understanding it in all its depth and breadth, and then looking at the Quran and the Islamic tradition and what it says. And in my view, this points to the divine origin of the Quran, that it gets Jesus exactly right. And that's one of the things we explore in depth on the course.
What we're trying to do with the short courses is expand beyond the explicitly theological to all of the most important areas of modern life. So it's AI and AI development, but from an Islamic metaphysical viewpoint. It's Islamic history, it's Western history, it's comparative psychology, even video game design. We have an executive from PlayStation.
When you told me we had someone from PlayStation, I couldn't believe it. But it's actually
yeah, but I mean that's how broad the scope is now with what we're doing with the short courses. There was a messenger sent to all peoples, and as such, you find an extraordinary openness in Muslim civilization to seeing truth as one.
It's also very fascinating because it takes in many disciplines. history and theology, languages, textual criticism, and also the contemporary world. Religion is still a powerful force politically, socially in the world today. So it's incredibly relevant and also very intellectually interesting and challenging as well. So what's not to like about it?
The point of BTA is to empower young Muslim students, to give them the tools to not be on the defensive, to exist in their modern context with an extraordinary degree of confidence.
You said lots of things there about what I've been wrestling with for many, many years.
Wow.
You've got a magnificent angle on it, and
That's very kind.
places me. Just a magnificent exploration of where Christ and God and the Trinity actually sits.
Oh, well said. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you anyway.
Let's just talk to you.
Yeah, thank you. What's your name?
I'm Gary.
Gary, I'm Paul. Nice to meet you, Gary.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, thank you.
It always gets me, Paul, I must say. Quite an artist, that man, considered the director. But I think I haven't considered it. Just make more films for us, but for free this time.
Yeah, it's a lovely film that was extraordinary. So yeah, that says a lot of it actually. So someone's just said they've already applied for this diploma. Really excited.
Oh, wonderful.
We look forward to talking to you personally when we interview people later, inshallah. Can we just talk about the discounts that are available at the moment for people who apply early, actually? So if you go on the website, folks, at Blogging Theology Academy, and click on apply, and you'll see the start date, which is actually in April the 8th, which is nearly 6 months away. Admission requirements, you can read about those, and our fees, which are mentioned there as well. But we have a 30% fee reduction at the moment, but I think we're going to extend that, aren't we, Hasan?
We can extend that. I don't think that Ahmed has put that on the website yet, the extension, but we are going to be extending that to the 15th of November. So it's very exciting. Yeah, that's still going to be available. It's obviously a huge fee reduction. And it's only for this very, very short period, because obviously the course starts all the way out in April. But as with last year, we're opening applications at this time, and we do have a very steady stream of applications all the way until April. And also limited spaces. So it's very, very much worth mentioning that you should get your application in as early as possible. And that really is a real thing. So we would welcome as many early applications as possible.
Absolutely, yeah. So please post your questions on the if you have any. This is a very exciting course. This will be our third year of teaching this course. It's been very popular, and the cohort, as Hasan has said before, has been very talented and very committed. It's been an absolute pleasure actually to meet with many of them actually in real life when our paths have been able to cross in London or wherever.
Yeah,
so just perhaps we'll stay on, just show that again. There we go. This is the website. Applications now open for BTA's 2026-27 Advanced Diploma in Western Tradition and Islamic Philosophy and Theology. So you go to the website, bloggingtheologyacademy.com. The link will be in the description below the video. You can apply now. You get a 30% discount if you apply up to and including the 15th of November. And you can see the video there about our whole philosophy, really, how we run things as well. And also you can read more. If you've got frequently FAQs, which is quite interesting. How are students trained and assessed at BTA? How different is this from the Blogging Theology YouTube channel? They're very different, actually. Can you study part-time? I'm already working. Yes, you can. And also the question of accreditation. We have a particular view on that. We don't view it as particularly advantageous. It can have quite negative effects on an academy's curricula and the procedures and policies we have to adopt if we are forced to align ourselves with institutions which don't share our values. So we value our independence, actually. There's a fascinating article there penned by Hasan as to why we don't wish to become subject to the dictates of the mainstream secular educational system and keep our independence. So yeah. So I think that's probably, don't particularly have any questions at this stage that I can see. I'll just double check. Yeah. So folks, yeah, if you, as I say, if you want to investigate this further, go to the website, Blogging Theology Academy, and investigate what's on offer on the advanced diploma course. And inshallah, we will meet one day and we will talk to you and we'll take that process further. And you can email us as well if you have queries. On the website, there's a special contact page where you can leave your questions or queries about the course or about any of the other courses. We have a short course, several short courses currently running. And we ought to mention as well, perhaps in conclusion, is the level 2 course that we will be running, which is starting roughly the same time in April next year. Hasan, do you want to say a few words about the level 2 course?
Absolutely. This is a very, very exciting course that has been requested by both cohorts. And we finally had the time and space to develop it. And now in this third year of BTA's existence, it's actually going to be launched. So this is a close reading course. It's a great books course, really. Again, split into these two complementary courses. One course is one run by Paul, one run by myself, with a lot of special guests to be confirmed, as is also the case, as we probably didn't mention this time, but is also the case and always has been the case with Advanced Diploma. We have amazing guest lecturers who come in, people like scholars like Joseph Lombard, like Ali Atai, and many others. And the same is going to be true of the level 2 course. But it's a great books course focusing on introducing students to the canon of great philosophical and theological literature, both in the Western tradition and in Islamic philosophy and theology. And this is open to people who've completed the level 1 diploma, and it's also open to people who can demonstrate sufficient background to benefit from the course, whether that's via academic qualifications, a BA in a relevant subject, or even a BA in a different subject, but the ability to demonstrate sufficient aptitude to benefit from the course. And it could also be from a traditional background. In fact, we'd very much welcome that in terms of traditional Ulum Islamiyya. So it's a very exciting course. I'm not going to divulge more about it now because it's all the details are going to be released in about a week's time, but that will be open for applications in about a week to 10 days. And watch this space, especially I would have thought Paul's social media platforms. And yeah, so we very much look forward to seeing you on either one of those courses, and very much look forward to meeting you. And I should say, this has been experienced by students as a transformational course. We do study what we study, we do investigate what we investigate very much from a believing perspective, of course, but I just wanted to clarify that to make it clear to anyone who might have been unsure. This is about discovering and celebrating and going deeper into the truth of the revelation brought by Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it's very much populated by students who have a profound level of faith, and that is what is really motivating their studies. But nonetheless, it's not in any way colored, as it were, by a faith perspective. Well, not in any way, not that would imply it, but we're not in any way straw manning the non-Islamic material that we are investigating and studying. So it's really quite an extraordinary mix of a very profound faith commitment and very rigorous study, I would say.
Yeah. And we have an old friend, Taha from the States, says, as a BT... no, salam to you, Taha. As you can read it, as a BT Academy alumnus, I'd love to know when Hasan's short course on Ibn Arabi will commence.
It's a very good question, Taha Habibi. I could just as much ask you the same question, to be honest, because I don't really know. But I think that I should be aiming for definitely next year, if that helps. It's not really been decided internally in BTA yet. It was something that we were considering having much earlier. But now with level 2 on the horizon, I think it's going to be delayed to a certain extent. And I also want to bring out a short text on Ibn Arabi that we would actually use as a set text. So watch this space, Habibi. We will announce it when it happens. I wish I could give you more concrete details.
Yes, I think as we've said, we're going to be starting this level 2 course, which obviously you're very welcome to join, Taha, in April. So that will take up certainly the first half of the year. I think a lot of our energies and time, because that'll be run concurrently with the advanced diploma, the one we're talking about now. Applications are open for that, which will start also in April at roughly the same time. So, but no, I look forward to that course when you do run it eventually, Hasan. It'll be very good, I'm sure.
Inshallah.
Yes, so I think unless anyone's got any other questions, we might draw to a close there, perhaps. But thank you for everyone. This is obviously going to be recorded and it'll be up on the Blogging Theology channel. Oh, hang on, there's another question just come in late there from Taha. Thank you. Also, can you please elaborate for everyone what interactions students will have with instructors outside of the lecture?
Would you like me to take that on, Paul, or
Please.
would you like?
Yes. I was just wondering. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we should have mentioned really, although I suppose this Q&A is a bit different to the previous years because I think that what BTA and the diploma are all about is quite well known to many people now. But it's very much focused on one-to-one interaction and tuition. And so we have what we call office hours. Perhaps we should have called them tutorials and been more English about it, but we stole the American term. I am half American, I suppose. And somewhat reluctantly. And so we have these office hours twice a week. We slots which are bookable via this online thing called Calendly. So you can have one-on-one tuition with Paul, one-on-one tuition with me, where you essentially explore in greater depth that which you've taken in class, and you come to us with any specific intricacies that you want to look into more carefully. And also what does end up being called a tutorial are the meetings that you have with us in order for us to look at your essays that you produce every term and to provide detailed comments on those essays. So we very much believe in one-on-one tuition and establishing that intellectual connection with each individual student. There's a minimum of 2 sessions that you need to book with us every term of office hours, but many students do far more than that. And apart from that, you have live lectures where we also encourage a very interactive environment. You have breakout rooms where the students discuss the masail, the questions together. And we're also always available to answer live questions. And we also have these WhatsApp groups where, one for Paul's course, one for my course, where we're also both present. And that's where a lot of the discussion happens throughout the week as well. So an awful lot of individual attention and really a tailored education to the particular needs of every student. And we're very, very committed to that. And that has been very successful thus far. And I think has proved to be quite a unique feature of the BTA educational experience. I think we've got another question from Normal here.
Yes, indeed. Salam, how does the assignments and course load look like? Do you want to, sorry to give this to you as well. Do you want to
address very happy. Yeah, I mean, it's essentially, in terms of what goes to what makes up your grade, what contributes to your grade, rather, which is essentially a pass or a merit or a distinction. It's only these 2 essays per course per term. Actually, in my course, it's ended up being that there's only 1 submitted essay, which is a 2,000-word essay at the end of the second term. And the one to be submitted in the first term is just an advanced draft to get comments in a tutorial with me on. But Paul has 2 essays, 1 for each term, both 1,000 words. So it's a relatively light load in that sense. Although having said that, the nature of the essays is very, very focused. And it's quite a enriching experience going through that whole process of writing it up and sending us drafts and attending the tutorial. And it's also very much about understanding how to write a well-argued, carefully structured essay. And apart from that, there are various assignments that I set in my course, for example. I'm not really up to speed 100% on what Paul's done in terms of assignments this year, but in my course there are assignments, but they're usually reflection pieces or optional quizzes and that kind of thing, which students can do if they feel that it would be a benefit to them, but it's not actually obligatory in the sense of contributing to the grade. In terms of the actual live classes, it's 2 hours per course, so 4 hours in total of live lectures a week. And that takes place on weekends, and it also takes place during the evening, and that means that people across the Atlantic and America can join, and they're really the majority of our students. So yeah.
Absolutely. No, thank you for that. Yeah, in my course, basically it's 2 essays, 1 per term, plus there's continual interaction through office hours or tutorials. And also we have a very lively WhatsApp group just for students, 1 for my course and 1 for Hasan's course, where there's daily interaction, really. People ask questions or make comments and share information as well. So it very much has got personal contact through those means. And there's no record, although we do record the sessions just in case someone's unable to attend. This is the actual classes, I mean. Everything is normatively personal. It's interactive. It's not based on things we've recorded in the past. So there is that personal interaction with all people whenever we possibly can, and that's the normative process we have, really. If you have any people have any more questions, they can go on the website. You're looking at it now. There, it's at bloggingtheologyacademy.com. There's an FAQ section as well. There we go. How are students trained and assessed at BTA? How's it different from the Blogging Theology channel, which is different from the YouTube channel? Can you, if you're working or studying, can you study at BT Academy? Yes. We welcome non-Muslims as well. Actually, we don't just you don't have to be a Muslim, although it is a Muslim institution, but you can learn with us as well. Do we interview each student individually? Yes, because we want to get to know who our students are. We want to talk to them so they can we have some kind of personal contact, as I was saying. And what you'll get out of the diploma, you can read about that. And also, why does BT Academy prefer not to be accredited? We have quite a principal reason why we don't want to be subject to the dictates of the mainstream secular education system. We want to keep our independence, which we've compromised. We know from the sad experience of other academies, Muslim academies, who've had this big problem. So we're not going to go down that path, really. We've got to keep our independence so we can teach without being compromised by the secular world. So let me just usually from what kind of, that's a good question. Oh, hang on, let me just so someone Lola missed the beginning. No worries, this is recorded, so you can watch it on Blogging Theology, actually, if you missed the beginning. But it's basically we are announcing today that applications are now open for BTA's Advanced Diploma in the Western Tradition and Islamic Philosophy and Theology. These are 2 courses run by Hasan and myself, but it's 1 diploma. They're complementary courses. You can read about them on the BTA website. And if people apply now to the course, there's a 30% discount up to November the 15th. So a couple, just over 2.5 weeks or so, 30% discount, which is quite a whopping discount, really. And you can read more about that on the website. There's another question here. What does the course consist of? If it's theology, is it focused on a particular theology, or will it be theological aspects all sects agree on? That's a very good question, actually. Hasan, do you want to tackle that?
Yeah, I absolutely do want to tackle it. It's very important. So basically, this is not a theology course in the sense that you're going to be studying Aqidah. We're really expecting that Muslims will already know their Aqidah, and we're very, very much not interested in getting into sectarian disputes. I think that Paul and I actually are a living example of how not to get into a theological dispute, because Paul is a Salafi broadly and I'm a Sufi broadly, and we get on just great. So this is not an issue. We both believe in the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we don't get into contentious issues. We study all sorts of figures who certainly you would call controversial, but we're not controversialists, and we definitely believe in the absolutely paramount importance of cultivating Islamic unity in this time. And all I'd say about that, when it comes to creedal issues, about BTA's attitude to that, is just that it simply doesn't come up, and it never has. On the other hand, we do gain a very, very advanced understanding of the metaphysical tradition and the philosophical traditions of Islam. And what I mean by that, and this is in a way that enhances your understanding of the Aqidah. And again, there are creedal differences. There are minor differences actually between different accounts of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. But I think that, for example, there are many people from Salafi backgrounds and from Sufi backgrounds who would agree that the creed of Imam al-Tahawi, for example, is acceptable to both of us. So we just don't really go there because it's not fruitful. But studying philosophy and metaphysics in the way that we study it here is something that will absolutely enhance your appreciation of the haqa'iq of the deen, of the realities, the ghaibi realities that we believe in. And so whether that's by studying figures like Imam al-Ghazali or Imam al-Razi or any number of other different theologians of our tradition, there's definitely a sense in which by studying theological discussions while staying away from contentious issues of theology and sectarian issues specifically, that you will gain definitely, and this is already very much mujarrab, very much something that we've experienced in the course, a much greater appreciation of the truth of Islam, just to put it very, very clearly. But on the other hand, what we're really offering most fundamentally is we want to empower students to be able to see reality for what it is through a philosophical lens, to uncover the nature of reality. I'm speaking mostly about the metaphysics and logic course, but of course, this is true also of Paul's course to a large extent, but perhaps in a slightly different way for the most part. But simply to come to our own conclusions about the nature of reality. And we're doing that as believing Muslims, and in a way specifically, and I think this is one of the most wonderful things, and this has really been incredibly successful already. And we have students who are top-level professionals in whatever, computer science and AI and software and medicine and any manner of other things. And we have people who are high-flying academics. We've had students from Oxford. We've had students from Harvard, lots of students from Harvard, actually, for some reason. And so essentially, I think they take away so much from the course, but I think the number one thing, if you can narrow it down, is simply the ability to speak to someone who doesn't share your faith perspective, but in terms of a shared philosophical language, so that you can explain to them, giving reasons, the rational structure of your belief. And I think that's something that in our time, when we're encouraged essentially to have a kind of blind faith model of religious belief, which we've really inherited from a kind of Lutheran legacy, essentially. It's a kind of Lutheran heritage of secularized Western thought, is really a very, very precious and a much needed, very, very precious and much needed thing. So I can't even remember what the question was, but that's
so
what
I removed the question from it, but no, you answered it very fully. And there's a greetings there from Germany, from Harun, as a friend of mine, Kalima TV YouTube channel. So that's great. Assalamu alaikum. Someone else asking, where can I sign up? Well, you just go to the Blogging and Theology Academy website, bloggingtheologyacademy.com. That's actually a picture there of it. And if you scroll down this, if you just apply now, and you can apply again, and then here we go. Here's the application form. There, so it's all there.
That's exactly the kind of attitude we want to see, Paul. I think. Where can I sign up? Yes, bloggingtheologyacademy.com.
Oh yeah. In fact, you can't see it because for some reason it didn't move. The screen didn't move on the. Anyway, if you go to the website, it does actually. It does show you there. Here's a good question actually. Salam, is there a course on decolonization, decolonialism? Not yet, but that's certainly an area we do want to have a course. There is one particular.
There is actually one on the horizon, isn't there, Paul? So.
Yeah, exactly. But I won't mention the academic's name because we haven't agreed to.
Yeah, it's still subject to final.
Yeah.
Details and everything. Yeah.
But anyway, we do have a specialist in the field, an academic who, God willing, will be doing this course. But we'll let people know.
I should mention, Paul, though, if you'll forgive me for interrupting, that these questions of decolonization and so on, I know there are various overlapping terms for pretty much the same thing, but it is a major feature, if not explicitly, but certainly implicitly, of our advanced diploma anyway. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, so Lola says, my dream is to give dawah and be a reason for non-Muslims whom I love to receive the message of Islam. Yeah, so maybe we should leave it there, folks. As they do go to the website, the link is in the description below, where you can discover this course, more about it. As Lola says in another message, I'm interested in Dr. Francesca's course as well as this one, but I barely have time for one of the two. Yeah. So yeah, Dr. Francesca's course is extremely popular, I must say, and there's another one starting in January. And applications have been flooding in for that for some time now, to be honest. So do look at the other short courses as well. And thank you, Taha, for your blessing and your contribution there. Assalamu alaikum. Very, very much welcome. Thank you very much for that. Gosh, a few questions. So what's this one? Is there anything on moral theory? I've looked at. Okay. Do you teach anything about moral theory, Hasan?
I'm assuming that our brother here or sister is talking about ethics.
Yeah, that's what I guessed. Yeah.
But if you are talking about ethics, then absolutely we have quite an extensive ethical component where we talk about ethics all the way from Plato and Aristotle through to Epicurean ethics, if you can call it that. I think it's more of a kind of anti-ethics. The hedonism, which is identifying the good with pleasure, which is obviously very modern in a way. And indeed, that's exactly what's taken up by Locke and by Mill and others. And utilitarianism is really just an adaptation of that hedonism. Yes, we have really quite an extensive component, ethical component throughout the course. So it's something very, very important, especially in terms of understanding how a realist ethics can be grounded by essentially rooting moral theory and metaphysics.
Okay, well, I think that's probably it. So please do go to the website and check us out. Check out the application form. There's a FAQ section. There's information about dates, times, the the prices for the course and the 30% discount, which is applicable at the moment until the 15th of November. So there we go. Thank you very much, everyone. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And we will be doing other live streams like this again in the coming weeks and months, of course, about the course as we get closer and closer to the time. But this is just a taster, really, to introduce the course and encourage you to look at the website for further information as well. So thank you very much, everyone. Assalamu alaikum.